Nobody lives more in the moment than a child exploring things for the first time. We try to be curious, but really, when the child looks at something unidentifiable and without context, that thing, the object being looked at, is new. How do we borrow that? How do we remember or go back to that? Can we unsee certain things? Are there things that you wish you could unsee? Pretty sure for the vast majority, if not everyone, that would be a yes. Even reading the news, I can't fathom some of this inhumanity. I saw something so disturbing a few days ago, I can't even bring words to it. I can't even describe it here because it wouldn't be fair to you, the listener. There are certain things that just don't require our energy or attention. And this leads me to what I want to say today, is that attention is the thing. Wherever our attention is where we are in that period of time. And since they say it, and I'll repeat this cliche, all we have is now. Therefore, the attention that I'm giving something is what I become, what I am, what I manifest, what I focus on is where everything goes. And it's hard to escape pain, like when you're really hurting, it is almost impossible to focus on something more lofty. Like our intentions might be up on one level, and then life will bring us way down with the pain part, the earthy, grounding, blood-soaked part. It's I'm still suffering from spinal surgery in many ways. There's something about spinal fluid that changes brain activity or brain function, rather. And I'm just not the same person. I am trying very hard to heal. There have been a number of circumstances where healing comes in the strangest shapes and forms and sizes. I never expected some of the support that I've gotten, when in fact I did expect some support I haven't gotten. And we don't get what we want. I'm not in charge of anything. I don't even have control over my own body. Let's be clear here. Parkinson's is its own thing that takes control at a certain point. And I'm not okay with that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not giving in or laying down and taking it easy, but this is really hard to manage once it gets to this point. Like I said, I've had Parkinson's probably 22 years, in that range, because that's when I remember my first symptoms. But by the time a symptom presents, we already have that loss of dopamine that is so notoriously connected. This loss of our capability, the Carbo, levodopa, or Sinemet that I take daily and way just too much of, copious amounts of this medicine, has been absent. It's like it gets lost between the intestinal tracts. I don't know, it's not being absorbed. So I'm waiting for the subcutaneous delivery system, which is one step up, in my opinion, from the dual pump. Because I need that dopamine. I need that delivery system to bypass so that I can get to the blood-brain barrier, through the blood-brain barrier. I just don't understand why medicine has lost so much efficacy so quickly. It's useless, really. Then I attended a talk yesterday, and there's always something to learn. Never assume that you are, that you've mastered something. I will never master any of the things I speak about, by the way. Especially not the dating one. When I squirted myself in the eye. That actually really happened. So funny. Remember, the part 2 of that's coming up. I didn't forget that part either. some of these more mundane things can be so funny, but I want to keep this on a level of philosophy that allows each of us to be reminded that there's more to life than just this physical plane, this pain, to transcend the pain. And that's all you get sometimes. There's no managing it. There's no stopping it. So if all I can do is try to figure out a way to circumvent it or get through it or sit with it long enough so that it's tolerable is the way. That's the ticket. That's what's up. And at a certain point, like I said, it's just the choices are less. It's a Hobson's choice often. With DBS, which has not been used to its full capacity, I'm struggling as well. Finally got in to see my doctor for some reprogramming, and we'll see what happens there. There's so much complexity to neurological disorders, and we can't expect people to understand. But there is a thing that's been happening lately with me is I'll freeze in public for about an hour, completely frozen. I'm talking a bug in amber, or Han Solo when he gets frozen in the Star Wars series, or perhaps a tree. It's like I turn into a tree. I cannot move, I cannot talk, cannot function. And I was in public on the corner of like Civic and something downtown Walnut Creek, and not a single person said, "Do you need help?" I just find that so odd. I had people snickering or speaking in hushed tones or staring and looking back several times or walking by just openly gawking. But not a single person said, "May I help you? Is anything, are you okay?" Until my friend pulled her car up, which the first time she arrived, she was almost sweating because she had to try to find a parking place. When she pulled her car into where I was standing, realizing I couldn't even get to where the parked car was, it took quite a while for her to readjust the car twice. And people who were sitting at a nearby bench did get up and say, "Hey, may I help you?" And they were so sweet, so kind. They said, "It's okay, we understand." Can we understand what we're looking at? Is Parkinson's mimicking someone who is an addict? Is that why there's so much disdain and hostility sometimes? I do sense that from onlookers occasionally. This look of scorn, like shame on you, lady. Shame on you, old lady. And I really believe addiction is terribly misunderstood if that's what's happening. I'm not sure. I can't read people's minds, but I do know it's unusual for someone to look at a person who is frozen in painful dystonic fits, excruciating, standing there barely able to hold her frame upright, shaking and twisting a little bit, just being miserable. To look at that person with such hate and resentment and fury is an odd response. I know these people are not sociopathic or psychopathic, so they must be misunderstanding the cues. So what can we do to educate a population on the fastest growing neurological disorder besides, dementia or Alzheimer's? Parkinson's is it. The numbers are every 6 seconds, 6 to 8 seconds, all over the world. Someone is diagnosed. With the environmental disasters we've created ourselves, this is only going to get worse. How can we train our minds to understand what we're looking at? I remember not understanding the difference between a stroke or cerebral palsy or different signs of MS. And now I understand those. I've learned the cues because I care enough, or I've known enough people, or I've had loved ones who had whatever it was. Does that happen to many of us? Yes. And is that what it takes? That we have to be in it? We have to have some skin in the game to really care enough to even bother educating ourselves? I'm going to go with probably yes. Before I had Parkinson's, I didn't know what I was looking at either. I just thought people were kind of strange or slow. Like, oh, look at that old guy. He's just not paying attention. That couldn't be farther from the truth. back to John Prine's song, Hello in There. You're still there. We're still there. I'm still here. I'm still in here. This shell, this cage of a body is changing rapidly. By the time you see me physically in public, I've crawled across the bathroom floor 7 times. I've spent 2 hours trying to get up in the morning, which requires rolling around in bed for an hour, and not the fun kind of rolling. Trying to get your body moving and will your feet to touch the ground in a heel strike formation so you don't tip backwards or forwards as you walk requires hours of work for me now. My meds are not working. I'm locked in the body. So there's tremendous suffering just to get out the door. And there's nothing I can do about that. I know it's temporary, as everything is. And if I know everything's so temporary, why do I behave as if things are permanent? There's another question we can ask ourselves every day. Enjoy everything. Everything is gone in just a flash, in a snap. Just like that. Thanks for listening. I tried to be quick today because I like to ramble. Ramble on. And do notice what you are seeing and what is doing the looking or the observing. Drop into that witness. See what happens. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you soon. And stay tuned for part 2 of Blind Date. Have a great day.